still wasn't, satisfied. I think I was missing a lot at home. We had just got married. I was working 80 hours plus a week. When I got home, I really didn't want to speak to her at all. I wanted to just go in the tub and just decompress. And
Yeah.
I got depressed, man. It was just like, man, the same thing over and over again. You're on the phone. You're constantly talking to people. Now, when I get home, I don't have the energy, to even speak to my wife. And I just didn't like that aspect of it. I always wanted to, be someone, hey, I'm around, I'm here, we're doing stuff together. And I just felt like I couldn't be that way.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Flip That Switch. I am your host, Brandon, aka B to the Sis Naive, and we're back with another episode. If you didn't get a chance to go back and watch the previous episode, please go back and watch it. It was a great episode that we did. As a matter of fact, before you watch this one, go back and watch that one. But today, we're going to be diving into a new episode, and the couple that I'm going to be interviewing today is a couple that is hilarious. And we just love their content. They've been on social media for a while now, and they're just inspiring other families to go out and have fun on social media and dance. I mean, dancing is their thing. Like I don't know if she gets him to do the dances or if he's just on board with it and he just does it naturally. But I love that their bond that they have, and I love that they share with each other. And they got two beautiful kids, and they're just really showing what Black love and Black families are about in today's society, especially when people really don't advocate for families. They don't advocate for having fun. They don't advocate for laughing and enjoying each other. So the fact that this couple is doing it is really an admiration to not only me and my wife, but also I'm sure the thousands of and hundreds of thousands of supporters that they have. So without further ado, let me introduce to the episode Kenzie and Dante. How y'all doing?
Good. How are
Doing good.
you? Thanks for having us.
Man, thanks for joining. Like truly appreciate you guys. And I just want to tell you guys, like I said, you are an inspiration to us. We love your love, and we love how you just have fun unapologetically. And you know what? I actually need to study some of those dance moves y'all be doing, because the way I look at it is like my knees wouldn't be able to handle half the stuff y'all do. Like, how do y'all do that? Like, do y'all practice? Do y'all are y'all just so in sync to where y'all just come up off the dome with it? Like, talk to me a little bit about how those dance moves work.
Okay, so technically, a lot of it starting from the beginning was a lot of freestyle. Dante really he may tell you that I tell him what to do, but in the freestyle moments, he kills it way better than me. When it comes to the choreography, most of the time I am telling him, hey, this is what we're doing. Sometimes we'll add our own little flair to it. But outside of that, Dante picks it up really good. He's a visual learner. We're both visual learners. So we just keep practicing it and we kind of go from there. Every once in a while, it's a one and done. And that's great. That's a good time.
Every once in a while, she ain't kidding. That don't happen too often.
No.
She's the boss, man.
No, I feel you. We love the one and dones. When we got to do multiple takes, our patience level is sometimes ain't where it needs to be. So the one and dones are obviously always as fun. But well, good to have you guys. So we'll dive right in. Kind of talk to me a little bit about your journey, how you got started in the social media industry, like how long you guys been married, how did you meet? Just talk to me a little bit about your journey coming up.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll kind of start. We got married 5 years ago, right? Yes. We're coming up on our 5-year anniversary of marriage. We met in 2018, actually at a bar.
Yep.
Dancing, actually.
Hey, man,
wow.
I was nervous. I never go out. It's funny because my coworker at the time, she was like, hey, come to the bar, say hi, it's my birthday, I usually don't go by myself, and I usually go with my cousin Bubby or my friends, and they couldn't make it. I was like, you know what, I'll just go by myself this one time. And it's funny because I seen her, and I seen her friend point, and I got a little nervous. I was like, oh, man. So I had to take 2 shots real quick, get my liquor courage up. And I walked up and we started dancing a little bit, and I asked her for a number. And it's funny because I thought she gave me the wrong number because I
Okay.
tried to text it wouldn't go through. I'm like, oh man, she played me. But
Played
essentially,
you.
it just was the internet connection in there.
Mm.
And it's
Okay.
funny because I walked back downstairs and she was dancing with someone else.
Mm.
And I walked past and she's like, save me. So like it worked out, man. I had to.
Yeah, it did. It worked out all together. From there, we had just been texting for a week, and Dante was telling me about his fun interests about like taking long walks outside. And he really liked murder mysteries. So it was kind of a red flag for me at first because I was like, I don't know. I'm glad this is your passion and you like it, but I
You
just
You
got
kind
gonna
of,
leave me
to. I guess I could have saved that one.
but overall, I had gotten sick and he picked me up and took me to the store and got me medicine. And I was like, wow, like he's a man. Like this isn't just
Yeah.
a regular guy I've been with. This is like a grown man. And so we went on a date and then he moved in my apartment and like we've been together ever since. So
Wow.
You know when you bring
That
the
is.
PS5 in, you ain't leaving.
Oh no, for sure. I was bringing duffel. Destiny had her own apartment. I was bringing like my duffel bag over there. I would bring it over there for like stay for like 2 or 3 days. But I wasn't living with her. I was just spending days over there at a time. And the next thing you know, I brought a hamper over there. The next thing you know, cleaned out one of the drawers. Well, she got mad at me because I cleaned out 2 drawers in her dresser. She said you only was supposed to get one. But I'm like, I mean, I need two. Look at all these clothes. And
Right.
so that transition to being like, okay, eventually I already know I'm about to be over here full time. So no, that's awesome. So you were dancing when you met her. She was dancing.
Yeah, we were at the bar, and downstairs is like a dance club. So like she was with her friends, and she was dancing, and then I was just kind of chilling. And I was by myself. I was a little weird. I was in the back, just hanging out. Just I like to watch, man. Sit back and just observe because there's crazy people in the world. But
Right.
essentially, when I seen her, I kind of went up to her. We were dancing for a little bit, maybe like 1 or 2 songs,
yeah.
and I was like, "You want to go on a date? Can I get your number?" And that was it, man. I had the best game that night with 2 shots, man. I'm telling you, I was good.
That's all you need, bro.
Right.
So what
Seriously.
was the first date like? What did y'all do?
So for our first date, actually, we went on a double date. So we
Yeah.
went with his friend and then his girlfriend at the time. And when we went to putt putt golf,
Glow in the
glow in the
dark.
Okay.
dark, and I won, of course. Very competitive
She
over
always
here.
say she was trying to win, man. She ain't win. She lying, man.
I won.
Ain't no evidence. We don't know about this. So at this
Yeah.
point, I won.
Okay.
Yeah. If we don't have a video, then it didn't happen.
Exactly. You know
All
what I mean?
right, all right, fair. But so we did that, and then we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and I just think we connected automatically in the sense of we talked about our future and what we wanted. We both wanted to settle down. We had our fun, and we wanted to start families. And we knew that like the next person we would be with, it was going to be serious, and we wanted to like pretty much marry that person. So I think we aligned in a lot of ways. We both were college athletes, so we were able to relate to a lot of things and understanding like the discipline of being a college athlete. It's, not everybody gets that unless you've been through that process. So I think overall, like we really just connected, and it was almost like I knew him for like years and I'd only met him like 2 weeks prior to that.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
most
is awesome.
definitely.
So y'all both were college athletes. What sports did you play?
I played soccer.
Yeah, I played basketball.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
And so after college, did you pursue it further or?
Yeah. I got to play overseas in England. I played there for about 9 months in Plymouth, England.
Okay.
Very much new experience for me. When I met my agent, actually, he had reached out to me, and it was either overseas in England or Cyprus, which is near Greece. And
Okay.
at the time, the economy, how it was, he said, "Hey, like, look, they speak English. It's your first time going over there. England would be really good." So kind of went over there, but unfortunately, I got hurt after about 9 months, which is kind of like a blessing in disguise, anyways. Because when I came home, I actually met my wife now, so it kind of
Mm,
worked out, right? It sucks that I had to figure it out and try to transition my life into something different, but I met her and kind of figured it out. So I think that's what life is about. You figure things out when things don't work out, and it
yeah.
worked out for the best and for me and my family. So I'm happy that it happened now looking back at it. But at the time, I was devastated. I was depressed. I wanted to figure out like, hey, what do I want to do in my life? And I think one thing that's always stayed consistent with me was just wanting to help people. Anything that I did was just, hey, I want to help people. And what can I do to do that? And now that we're doing social media and being a positive impact on others, it's kind of fulfilling our bucket. So I really enjoy that.
Absolutely. Isn't it crazy how like God will take something and the reason why so a lot of people like ask like, well, why did this happen to me? Why did it have to be this way and things of that nature? But like I've grown to understand that if it was up to us, we wouldn't just come back. You wouldn't have just came back to the States and met Kenzie. Something had to happen for you. And unfortunately, it was you getting hurt. And as you're going through the depression and going through like, man, I'm not going to be able to hoop again. This is my dream. This is what I want to do. God is setting you up to be like, you know what, but I have something bigger in store for you. You don't know what it is, but just relax, be patient, go through this, and then you're going to come out on the other side with a bigger blessing than you thought you wanted. And it's amazing how God works, man. Because you were probably like, man, I'm sure you were torn up. Like hooping probably wasn't, and it's like, man, I'm out here giving these dudes buckets. I can do something with this. I can potentially even go to the league.
Yeah.
That's probably what your thought process was, and God was like, nah, I got something different and better for you. So
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing how he works, man.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because like the whole for me, I was more depressed because growing up, you want to be able to provide for your family and do things like that, and basketball was that avenue, right?
Absolutely.
And when that gets taken away from you, now you not only are disappointed in yourself, but you got other people that you wanted to make proud and things like that, and now that's kind of like ended. So that was more of a issue for me than just like being hurt, not being able to play again. It was like, man, now I can't, buy my mom and dad that house that they wanted or whatever the case is. You know what I mean? Because that's why I wanted to do those things and help my sisters and my brothers and do those things. I think that's just awesome to be able to do that. And when that kind of ended, I just tried to have to figure it out. And luckily, I met her, and I transitioned my career into like the mortgage industry. I had some friends in college that worked in the mortgage industry, was able to help people refinance their homes, and I felt like I was making an impact on that realm. But I still wasn't satisfied. I think I was missing a lot at home. We had just got married. I was working 80 hours plus a week. When I got home, I really didn't want to speak to her at all. I wanted to just go in the tub and just decompress. And I got depressed, man. It was just like, man, the same thing over and over again. You're on the phone, you're constantly talking to people. Now when I get home, I don't have the energy, to even speak to my wife. And I just didn't like that aspect of it. I always wanted to, be someone that, hey, I'm around, I'm here, we're doing stuff together. And I just felt like I couldn't be that way. So, luckily enough, we were actually in California at the time. And, I just kind of thought about it like, hey, I don't think I can do this anymore. And that was it. And kind of transition from there, talk to some friends and transition where I can still make good money for my family, but also have the time back where I can still spend time with my wife, my kids now. So like, that's important to me. It's like, there's no amount of money in the world I would want to make if I'm never able to spend time with the people that I care about.
Wow.
And now that I'm able to do that, it just kind of, I think, transitioned into our lives, like with being able to conceive and those things. Cause like a lot of it, like stress and all these things that kind of come into it, you don't really think about. But that really had a big stressor in my life. And I'm glad that I was kind of moved on from that and kind of transitioned into, where we're at now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Kenzie, when he told you that he couldn't do this anymore, what was your reaction to that?
Ultimately, I kind of had not like a relief that he said that, because obviously I knew he was struggling and he was in a depression, but I was happy that he kind of let go of that needing of, I know that I'm like I'm making a lot of money and I'm working a lot, but like this isn't something that I need to keep doing. Because for me, I would rather, similar to him, have that time back from him and that family balance compared to him working all the time and being stressed and like almost kind of burning out, right? In all realms of life. So for me, I said, that's great. Like, take your break. I think you took like a good amount of break that I think was great for your mental health to like get him back to where he was, or where he is now.
Mm-hmm.
And so then from there, I just was like, you know what? We're going to figure it out. And that's how we always have kind of gone about things. We've always said, you know, the wheels may fall off, but we're going to put the wheels back on and keep going. And so for that situation, we just kind of like, he really took it within himself to network with his friends and say, hey, like, what are you doing? You know, what are you doing for work? You know, I'm trying to switch, but I have a background in sales, things like that. And so from there, he found his dream job, is what I would call it, in the sense of like having that work-life family balance, feeling like he's making a difference, and just filling his bucket, because I know he's such like a loving and giving person. And that's what I love so much about him, is that he loves helping other people, and that fills his bucket. And to be able to do that and work all in one is just perfect for him. So
Wow, that is awesome. Let me ask you something, Kenzie. So, why is it important? Because what I'm gathering here is that like you were an amazing support system for him. You know, you let him know, hey, listen, I know you're taking a break, but we're going to be okay. Like you said, the wheels fall off. We'll put them back on. We're going to get through this. As a man, obviously, we have a lot of pressure on us to go out, provide, earn a living, take care of our families. I mean, an immense amount of pressure.
mm-hmm.
And why do you think it's important as a wife and as a woman to really be there in those critical moments to support your husband? Because I mean, at the end of the day, right? Like, if we don't have that support, like it's already chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's already, you know, things are already going haywire in our minds from our standpoint. We get like men, we get dramatic when we're put in a position where we don't think we can do what we need to do as men, what we're wired to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in those moments, we got a lot going through our heads. So why is it important as a wife to be that support system for your husband in those moments?
I think ultimately, for our household to be one united front, I think that we both need to be okay. And for me, I'm a very emotional person, and I share a lot of things with my emotions. He's a very logical person. And so he doesn't always show his emotions with me. And he is very logical with how he does a lot of things. And so for me, I've always just said, like, I understand that he's not going to always forefront all of these emotions. But when he's logically talking to me about something, I'm like, okay, you're coming from a place of like, this may be a concern. And like, how are we going to fix the problem? And so for me, it's important to understand like how your spouse is to begin with. And then secondly, I think it's super important to figure out how it works moving forward, because at the end of the day, like, I would want him to come to me and tell me about something he's frustrated about or needs to fix or is stressed about, same ways as I'm sure he would want me to come to him. So keeping that open of communication and support, I think, is super important. And kind of to like tap into like, you know, the Black community doesn't really talk about men like sharing their emotions a lot or sharing their stresses, because obviously everyone has stress. Like, it's inevitable that people are going to have some sort of emotional toll on things. So for me, I just kind of go about it as, I'm like, I know he thinks very logical, and if he's talking about something a lot in a logical way, I'm like, this is something he's concerned about and we should just fix a problem. I know that kind of brings his stress down compared to kind of going at it emotionally. So I think that's important.
No, for
And
sure.
I think she pushes me in a lot of different ways since I first met her. Even when I ended basketball, I tried to get back into it, and it just wasn't for me anymore. It wasn't in my heart. But she always pushed me outside of that to think bigger or believe in me more than I believed in myself at times when I was going through that situation. And I can tell you that because of that, I went from, obviously transition to basketball. I was working at this plant, and she was like, hey, let's get this right so that we can go to these things. And then like she just kept pushing me into places where I was like, I don't know if I could do this. And she kept doing it. She kept doing it. And eventually, like, I understood you have to be uncomfortable to be in a position where, forget the quote, but essentially like she pushed me in a place where I was growing because I was uncomfortable, right? I
Yep.
wasn't doing the same old things over and over again. She kept kind of in it. We kind of butted heads at times. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
no, like I get it, but stop. And like she was like, no, but you need to do, you know what I mean? So like she just kept kind of forcing it at me, and I think because of that, like I've grown a lot, not only like financially, but also just as a man and understanding like you do need to talk to people. I went to therapy when I went to that last job, and I wasn't going to do that ever because I just thought, hey, like I can figure it out by myself. But just
Right.
having someone else to talk to was really nice, and she kind of pushed me towards that. So I'm like, I don't need therapy. I don't want to talk to anybody. But she was like, hey, just do it. What's the harm for it?
Mm,
So being able to kind of just talk to someone else about it, being able to own that depression and figure out it may never leave, but what can you do to manage the things that you're going through?
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I kind of found a passion in, still being able to, go work out. Obviously now with cycling, like finding different things outside of just the regular day to day to do, to kind of manage the things that, we constantly go through on a day to day basis, which is like, how am I going to do this? Financially, I got to take care of my kids, my wife, like the houses, like all the different things that we think about that she may not think about all the time. She don't have to worry about it as much. But
right.
what can I do to manage that? And I think because of her, she kind of pushed me outside of my comfort zone to get there.
Yeah. And I just wanted to kind of piggyback off of that in the sense of like him taking that step to go to therapy really made a huge difference as well, because having that like other person kind of give you avenues to help you deal with what you're going through was so helpful. I never was like thinking what his therapist was thinking in the sense of, obviously he grew up playing basketball his whole life. So he's like, get into a basketball league, start working out, to make yourself feel better. Like that's what you were used to growing up this whole time you played basketball. So him getting into a basketball league and dunking on, other 40-year-old men, filled his bucket. And that's like what he needed to kind of have that outlet of like, hey, I'm leaving the house. I'm like doing something else for me to kind of help get my mind off of things that I'm thinking about on the day to day.
Yeah. Yeah. First and foremost, you ain't have to say dunking on 40-year-old man. He's dunking. Right? All right. Yeah.
I wasn't
He said
dunking on him, man.
40-year-old. He's still dunking though. So like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome, man. I think the key messaging in there is the fact that she challenged you to go out of your comfort zone, and now you're still going out of your comfort zone because of something she challenged you years back, and it's still resonating with you today. And that's what it's about. Your partner is supposed to just come in there and change your life and elevate you and try things that you normally wouldn't try. With our social media journey, like I was a private person. Like if you would have asked me before like we got together, I would have never gotten in front of the camera. And I was a private person. I always had the personality, but I'm like, there's only a select few people that I want to show my personality to, and I want people that I want to see my personality. And now we're just doing it for the masses. And so I think just what you said is really just getting in there and challenging that person to be better, think outside of the box, and get uncomfortable. And that's what's going to help elevate you. So that's awesome.
Yeah, most definitely. It's funny you say that because I'm very much a private person myself. When she started this journey, like if you notice from her first video, it was just her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had quit a job that she was doing corporate. She wanted to kind of do something different. She wasn't happy. I was like, hey, cool, do that. You know what I mean? You have the ability to do it now. Go do it. And then she was like, hey, can you get in this video with me? I'm like, no,
No.
I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? And it's
Not.
funny because my buddy AJ, he sends me a lot of different things all the time. And one thing that really resonated with me was a guy that is a quote that he got from someone else, but it basically says, if you can't beat the fear, just do it scared. And I think that is really powerful just because a lot of times you think of all the negative things that can go wrong with social media, whatever you do in life. But if you never take that risk, or if she never took that risk, we would never be in the position we are that we, today.
Mm-hmm.
And she may have been scared of, maybe the critics talking crap on there, all the bad comments that you get, and all the stuff that the nuances that you get when it comes to social media. But she just did it, even though she may have been a little bit scared. Same thing for me. I was scared. I didn't want to put our life on there, especially going into the fact that, we were trying to conceive. and it wasn't working. Now we got to share this with other people and other
Mm-hmm.
individuals. And at the time, I'm like, I don't want to do that. But she
Yeah.
kind of sat back and kind of talked to me and said, hey, look, like other people are going through this as well. And you can make an impact on how other people are. And not only that, but like they could help us too, right? Because we're
Mm-hmm.
going through it. You know, we see all these comments I was seeing when we posted it. And it's like, man, like there's so many people that are going through the same situation, and
Mm.
the fact that we're either helping out and also they're helping us. Hey, keep going. We were trying for 4 years, 5 years. It's gonna happen. Like just giving you that boost to what you need, because there was a point where it's like it was kind of starting to become homework. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like this isn't actually fun. This is homework. Like this is like something that we have to do versus like we want to. And
Right.
just seeing the positive influx of people saying, they either been through it,
Mm-hmm.
or like helping us in that time. Like I think because of that jump of being scared and just still doing it, um, obviously, like, you know, got us to where we are, now.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Speaking of the fertility journey, talk to me a little bit about that. And did that affect you guys as far as like from a relationship standpoint when you were going through that? Like, was that, or did you guys just come together and were like, you know what, we're going to get through this, we're going to do this? Um, and just kind of talk a little bit about that journey, because a lot of people don't know about struggling with fertility. Obviously, me and Destiny went through it. We had to do IVF, which, not complaining about it. It was a blessing because it did reach so many people. And we realized, like you said, so many people are struggling with it. But sometimes it just takes one person to share their story for everybody to just come out the woodwork and be like, you know what? So kind of talk to me a little bit about that journey and what type of impact that had on you guys.
Yeah. So I would say the journey was not easy, obviously. As you know, there's just so many things in your mind that you have like doubts, and you have like, well, was it something I did? Is it like, why is this happening? And, for us, we had gone to multiple other doctors because our first doctor was like, oh, like, there's nothing wrong with you, but like,
Mm.
you probably should do IVF right away. And I was like, well, that's weird. Why are you telling me there's nothing wrong with me? And so then from there, we got another opinion. And that's when I had found out that I had PCOS. So, like,
Mm.
throughout this whole process, it was very eye opening to like what I had going on. And then
Mhm.
also into the sense of like, it just was a very big emotional toll, especially for me as being an emotional person. I think I cried like a lot. I cried a lot about it. And what was really great is Dante having that logical mindset of being like, it's okay, like we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna keep going, like just keep going. We're gonna figure it out. Don't worry, like it's gonna work out. And so from there, I had told him, I was like, hey, I am just really struggling with this, and I really want to share on social media and just kind of like share how I'm feeling, kind of have that like outlet of, this is very hard on me emotionally and we're figuring it out. But like with the process of figuring it out, kind of just share, this isn't an easy process. Not a lot of people talk about it. And as soon as we shared it, like you said, everyone came out of the woodwork saying like, hey, like I'm going through this, I've been through this. We had close family friends that, obviously not everyone's going to share their business like that, but come forward and say, yeah, we struggled too for multiple years. My mom was like, yeah, we struggled as well. So there were so many different things that I was like, wow, it made me feel better in understanding that a lot of other people go through the process but just don't speak openly about it. So that kind of helped a little bit. And then in the process of together, I think it was helpful that we both had each other to just continue and talk about, this is what's going on. We're just going to keep going to the doctors. We're going to keep doing our thing. And we had gone through, we finally, after like 2 years of like speaking to doctors, no, it was a year, sorry, a year of like speaking to doctors and getting different opinions. We had started our first IUI cycle. And with IUI, the first one we didn't conceive, but then we actually spoke to his friend that he played basketball with in college, right? And he prayed over us and we prayed together. We were actually at the grocery store in like the
Mm-hmm.
grocery store aisle, and we prayed, and that second cycle we conceived. And
Wow.
so I just think that overall it was important that we had not only like him as the support system, we had multiple other people too that prayed for us and looked over us and helped us through along that journey as well. So honestly, as much as like, you know, people keep it to themselves and struggle, being open and sharing it with like family friends, I think truthfully helped us for the process.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So fast forward, your second kid was that natural? Or was that via IUI as well?
So that one was actually natural. And we were very shocked because obviously, with having years of struggling to conceive and then having to do 2 IUI cycles to conceive our first child, we are like, there's no way we're going to conceive naturally. Our doctor even told us, hey, we know that, you know, this amount of, you know, takes for IUI is going to work for you. So just come back when you're ready for another kid. I'm like, okay, sounds good. We just weren't trying. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I'm pregnant again. And so
Happy accident.
it was definitely a happy accident. And we're definitely happy, obviously, that we were able to conceive naturally after. But that was definitely one of the things that I was like, oh, wow, like, what? This is crazy.
It was so funny his reaction when I watched the video. He was like, "No, you're lying. No." And then I saw your daughter looking like she was looking at him like, "No, Dad, she's telling the truth." So funny.
Man, yeah, that was a crazy time because, like you said, we didn't know we could conceive, and people probably in the comments like, y'all know what y'all did, y'all know y'all get pregnant, but for us, like that wasn't normal. Like that's
Mm-mm.
not the journey we had, you know. And for me, obviously, like I am logical, but it was still tough, you know. As a man, like
Yeah.
you want to have a family. Like when I was younger, like I've always wanted a family. I got sisters and brothers. I got multiple nieces and nephews, and
Oh, yeah.
I've always wanted a big family myself. And when we found out we couldn't, like it was like man, like why, what's going on, like what, like she said, like what did we do? And I think the big difference when it comes to the support system is the people that you talk to, especially like the doctors. It's like you want someone that's going to treat you like a family. Like the first doctor was more just like, hey, we're just a number, here you go, this is what you need to do, and be out. Like he just wanted to get our money and bounce.
Oh,
But
for
we
sure.
found this other lady that she was in her kitchen. She talked to us like, you know, she was a part of our family and she made us feel welcome. And I think obviously like we conceived with that doctor and with that clinic that we went to. But also I think we just felt comfortable. Like, hey, like we
Mm-hmm.
feel comfortable. Like she was very open and honest with us. She didn't like overpromise at us at all, but she kind of just told us what it was, and you know, this is real. Like obviously she has PCOS. Now you got to go get tested, figure out
Mm,
what's going on with you, all these different things that our last doctor really didn't give us those options. You know what I mean? It was just, hey, you can do it. There's nothing really wrong, and bam, bam, bam. But it's like, if it's that easy, like what's like, what is it? You
yeah.
know what I mean? And um, I think we did, like I at least struggled a lot. Didn't tell her as much, you know, I didn't want to talk to her and bring her down as she's already down. But I think, like she said, just being able to talk about it, come together, see other people they've been going through, kind of gave us the hope that hey, like we just can't give up. We got to
Mm-hmm.
keep trying, and
Yeah.
know that there's other opportunities, other things out there outside of being able to conceive naturally that could potentially help us. You know, like you and your wife went through IVF and all those things. So we were just going to try everything until we couldn't try anymore. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's luckily, you know, we were able to do it financially. Obviously, IVF is a lot more expensive than IUI,
Yeah.
so it worked out for us for sure.
No, for sure. Yeah, we were in the same boat. So we were actually, what's funny is we were going to do IVF in Barbados.
Mm.
Yeah.
We had got like did our research and gotten stories about how like, you go overseas, you do it, you have more of a chance. And I literally like we had started like looking at Airbnbs out there. We were like, okay, what's the nearest grocery stores? I mean, we were literally gonna do it. You got to be out there for like I think is it 2 weeks after or maybe a month after, just for them to do their checkups and stuff like that. So we were planning to go to Barbados, and then someone had came to us and was like, you should check your insurance to see if they offer IVF. So, I'm working my full time job at the time. I go and luckily it was covered under insurance. And
Wow.
Yeah, and that was the only reason why we stayed here and did it. So
Wow.
we got connected with a great doctor, and the first time we did IVF, it failed. I was like, man, I'm not going through this again, because it wasn't even about me. It was about the fact that Destiny had went through all this stuff just to get a no,
Mm.
shots and, pills and, I mean, just around the clock stuff that had to go on. And so finally, when we got to later on in the year, she was like, you want to just give it another shot? I said, no, no, I don't want to go through this again. And finally, I kind of was like, all right, fine, we can do it again. Next thing you know, she got preggo right after. So it's really about the perseverance and understanding that a no doesn't mean like no forever,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
like right now. And just, you got to keep going. Like you said, you got to keep going. And at some point, you keep knocking on the door, it's going to open. So
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate y'all's story. Y'all kept going, man. And now you got two beautiful children. I mean, y'all are a beautiful family. I'm not just saying that. Like, y'all are a beautiful family. Like, for real.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And I know a lot of times you just show people what you want them to see on social media. So we see all the the dancing and the happy go lucky stuff. But I get the vibe and the energy from y'all that y'all are truly a lovely family. So I just want to give y'all's flowers. Y'all are an amazing, beautiful family. So
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
that.
Appreciate that.
Sometimes you
that's
want to cut my head off, but hey, we'll do it,
Yeah, there's sometimes I'm like, woo.
what it is. Sometimes I'm sure Destiny want to cut my head off, but
Yeah.
what it is. Okay, so talk to me about the transition from California to Michigan, because you're in California and like you said, you're doing your thing, but you're realizing that, hey, this 80 hours ain't it. And then at some point you transitioned from California to Michigan. So talk to me a little bit about what that was like.
Yeah, so when I went to California, my brother lived out there, right? So him and his family out there, his wife has a lot of family out there. And when I got hurt, instead of coming home, overseas, instead of coming home, and getting distracted with friends and family, like I wanted to get back into basketball at that time. I went to Cali and stayed with my brother, and I was basically doing a lot of rehab there. I went to this guy that was doing rehab for other, basketball players as well. So I'll just get my knee better, trying to figure it out. But then just being out there with my brother was nice because I didn't have a lot of the distractions that I would have when I was back home, just because I knew a lot of people and didn't know anybody in California, right? It was just like my brother and his family. And the transition back to Michigan was actually funny because one of my teammates hit me up, was like, hey, you want to play in Australia? And at the time, I'm like, yeah, like, let's do it. So I came
Yes.
home because I wanted to see my family before I left, if that was the thing that was going to go on.
Okay.
And this guy I played with in Plymouth, England, and he played for a long time. Like he played in Australia for years, and when he was playing, I think he was like maybe almost 40 years old. So he'd been playing for a long, long time since he was young. And when I got home and kind of reached back out, he was like, "Hey man, like I'm kind of transitioning my career. I'm going to go into like finance or something." So he got like a new job and was done playing. So like at that point, that opportunity kind of fell through. So I
Got
had
you.
to figure out like what I'm going to do, and that's when I was at home and just doing my thing, and that's when I met her at the bar. So it's kind of worked out that way, man. Like I wasn't even supposed to be home, but because of that opportunity that came up, um, I was able to meet her, and we just figured it out.
Wow, man, that is awesome, man. Now, when he met you, at the time, what were you doing, Kenzie, for work?
Yeah, so I was still in college actually at the time when I met him. I
Okay.
think I was I a junior?
Yeah,
Yes.
junior.
I was a junior in college. And so I was in a process where I was just focusing on school and work. And so for work, I just had like an internship going. I was doing an internship in sports management in their sales department at the college I went to. And then I also was just like working at, we called it the Bubble Dome, where you have like the indoor turf field. So I was just working the front desk there at the time. And then obviously playing soccer
Full-time
full
job.
time. So, in that moment, when I say I had my fun, I went out and I experienced, I partied, I had my good times already. So at this point in my life, I was like, I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on school and like put my head down and just kind of go from there. I wasn't even looking for relationships at that time because I had already been through some pretty rough stuff.
Mhm.
So in that moment, when I had met him, I was like, oh, like, wow, okay, like you're checking all my boxes, and things are checking out in the sense of like what I would want in a partner. And so
Yeah.
from there, that's when I was like, okay, like I think this is my opportunity to, see where this goes.
So in college, you had boxes.
Say that
Like
again.
you, like in college, you had like things that people like. Wow.
And it's funny that you say that because I had a lot of being in the athlete community, we had a lot of like study halls that we would go to. And
Okay.
one time in the study hall, I think it was like 2 months before I met him, we went over like, oh, do you have like any requirements or boxes that you have in the sense of like what you would look for in a partner? And I was like, oh yeah, like I have a couple. And people were looking at me like, what? And I was
Yeah,
like,
no, that's how I'm like, wait, what? You have boxes?
like, yeah, I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm like, I think we have to align. So I'm like, if someone's not checking a box that is kind of like a deal breaker for me, I'm kind of like, hey, listen, I just don't think this is going to work out. And so when I had shared my list with friends at the time, they were like, you're never going to find anyone to hit all those boxes. Like, you're crazy. And I was like, well, I guess still being delusional was good because I found it. So
That's crazy. Having boxes in college.
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great thing. Like I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, if I had been mature enough to have boxes at that age, I would like what? Like,
Yeah. No, for
okay,
sure. And
yeah,
also too, I would say like me as a person, I would say I'm like a very old soul. And like my teammates would always joke about how like I was like a granny because I was like I am like a homebody. I like to have fun. I have a good time. But outside of that, I really am just kind of like I love olden day love. I love 90s love. I love like all those things. So they all were kind of like looking at me like, well, the modern day is not catching up with what you're looking for, girl. And I'm like, I don't care. I know I'm gonna find it out there. So yeah, I
yeah.
think in the process too, going through so many bad relationships, I was kind of at a point where I was like, okay, I really just need to make a box, lines, and say, okay, what is my deal breakers and what I'm like okay with, kind of thing. So yeah.
No, for sure. How long were you guys engaged before you got married?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 lovely kids later.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's funny because we wanted to try like right when we got married because that was kind of one of her requirements. If you say,
Oh yeah, I was
I
very
wanted kids right off rips, like man, like let's just do it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Because I always said like I want a family. I knew like I could see her being the mother of my kids regardless if we were married or
Yeah.
not.
Mhm.
And to me, like, for her, she's like, hey, no, like we got to be married and things like that. So you know how it is, happy wife, happy life. And we followed that, and that's when we started trying. And unfortunately, we couldn't at the time.
Mhm.
But yeah, for me, man, I've always wanted a family. Like, and I knew like, okay, regardless, she's a good person for my kids. You
Mhm.
know, when I met her, the first thing I liked was in the club. It's funny because I had asked her, hey, I got some shots in the car. You know, like just sitting there. Like I don't want to. I'm very frugal. I don't like to
Frugal.
spend a lot of money,
Yeah.
so I just
Dude,
had that. And she's like, "Oh yeah," but she stopped at every one of her friends first and made sure, "Hey, y'all good? You good? You good?" And that's what I really like about her, that she thought about others before herself, and that's a big thing for me. So I knew like one off rips, she's always gonna have my kids' backs no matter what. She's always gonna be
mm,
thinking of them. But that was the I guess the one thing that kind of glued me. It's like, man, this I've never had a person because you know me people at the bar all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't something that I was used to, that someone was going up to their friends. Even if she was a little tipsy too, like you know she wasn't like just straight minded. She was having a couple of drinks, they
Mm-hmm.
were flowing, but she made sure like her friends were good, and I really appreciated that.
wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's a heck of a story. How many
Yeah.
kids you guys want?
Oh, we started off with 6, and I am like, I think we got to take it one at a time.
Yeah.
We're like one at a time.
Yeah,
That's how it goes. Yeah, yeah. We started off with a lot, and then we were like, you know what? first one, all right, cool. Second one, cool. All right, we're gonna take a little break and figure it out. So
Figure
we
it out
still
from
want
there.
another one, but who knows?
Yeah, give it some time.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about how you got started with social media, because I think a lot of people like to hear the stories of how people got involved in social media, and you guys got on there, and now you're just killing it, and the success stories that like you or we have, not a lot of people have been able to experience that. They get into social media, things may not work out, and they just decide to pivot and go another route. So, kind of talk to me a little bit about your journey on how you got started into social media.
Yeah. So I was working at a mortgage company at the time.
Okay.
I was not happy at all. And so um, from there, I actually told Dante I wanted to get into real estate. And then I ended up not getting into real estate. And I was like, you know what? He actually had a friend from elementary school growing up who was doing social media. And so I was seeing that she was doing social media and sharing her life and, her relationship with her husband and her son and things like that. And so from there, I was like, wow, like I really do see social media kind of being something that like I might want to get into. I've always been creative and, I love the aspect of editing videos and things like that. So I was like, like let me start and see if I like it. It may not be something full time, but it started off as just something fun. So I did it. We started that in 2020 maybe. Yeah, I started in 2020. I think, yeah, because COVID had happened. So that had happened. I'd quit my job, and then I had started that, and so that was a lot of fun for me because it was more of like that creative outlet that I was really liking. And at that moment, I don't think I really saw it as like a opportunity to create money. And then eventually like I had turned into that and I was like, wow, like I'm actually doing what I love for my job, which is absolutely amazing. But that's kind of how it started. And how Dante was saying, it started off with just me like making silly videos and things that, I look back and it's funny. I think when you look back at your old videos, you're like, oh, you cringe a little bit. But like,
Yeah.
it's great seeing that growth of like where we are now and what we create now. But yeah, and then I was like, Dante, like, do you want to like get in like some of these dance videos and like join me and like do some couple videos?
Hold on, hold on. I gotta cut her off. She did not come to me. Do you want to do this? She said, "Hey, get in here
Yeah,
right
like,
now.
come here, come here.
Yeah.
You gonna do this
No, no,
dance
no.
video."
Let's keep it real.
Right.
We're not gonna give the sugar coated version. You told him, "Hey, we're doing this."
Yep.
Hey, you didn't say no, so
I couldn't. He knows you can't say ain't no such thing as
Nah,
no.
yeah, we're doing this. We
Right.
gotta, yeah, no, for sure. And we have so many similarities, like because we started our social media in 2020 as well, during COVID, and we I didn't know anything about TikTok before like us starting our social media. I thought that we were just gonna do YouTube. And I thought that we were just like our channel was supposed to be like a travel channel. And so once we weren't traveling as much, we pivoted to doing like pranks and stuff like that. And then the first couple of videos she did on TikTok. And then I was like, I don't know about TikTok. I don't want to do that. I just want to focus on YouTube. But it took a while. It took a while for me to get on board with TikTok because I was like, that wasn't really what I was talking about. But then you also understand and realize like you have to be on multiple platforms to capitalize on the different income possibilities and stuff like that. But I wasn't on board with it either. I was like, man, let's just do YouTube vlogging. That's what I'm comfortable with. It's natural. But then COVID like changed all of that. And so fast forward to now, it's like we're all just now it's just like our career. It like you said, it was a hobby at first. I was still working my 9 to 5. She was still working hers, and she left her job. I think it's been like 2 years now, maybe.
Wow.
And I just recently left my job in January.
That's awesome,
So,
man.
yeah. So it's like really what turned into like just for me, it was just going to be like something I do after work, so I won't be bored. So we won't be bored. And now it's just giving us all these opportunities. So
Yeah, I'm trying to
you
get
guys,
there.
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. You
I was
say
gonna
what?
say, I'm trying to get there. Like obviously she stopped her job and I'm still working right now, but I want to transition obviously into something like that as well. Like right where I can just do social media full time, right? Hang out with my kids, do what we do on a day to day, but together.
Exactly.
I think that would be super awesome. Because for me, like, I don't really post, right? I just in the videos, but I feel like I
Yeah.
can start posting myself and doing things I like, lifestyle, and still like share things, right? But I gotta learn that editing stuff and all that, man. I'm terrible. I don't got the patience for it yet.
Yeah. I just started doing mini vlogs myself on my IG, and I'm learning right now. Destiny's been helping me with editing, so I'm learning how to edit now. Of course, the podcast and stuff like that. So I'm starting to tap into some things that I'm trying to do too. Because, like you said, when you take a leap of faith, right? It's a leap of faith that I took. It's like now I got to make sure that I stay productive. I can't be sitting that be leaving my job doesn't mean I sit around on the couch and twiddle my fingers and stuff like that. I need to be doing stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so just really creating that lane for yourself, and you'll get there. You'll get to a point where you'll be like in your okay in your mind to be like, okay, it's time to walk away from my job. And it's trust me, I'm telling you right now, it's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
It took me a while to do that, man, because I was like, here it is. Job is flexible. It's allowing us to do our content, guaranteed income. My job was so flexible where it allowed us to go. Like we took maybe 2 years ago, we took so many vacations, and
Mhm.
my job understood what I was doing as far as content. So they were like, "Oh, we know that this is only going to be a short term thing. That he'll be here anyway." You know, and so they were flexible with me, but even with that, it still took a while for me to walk away, man. And finally, like I said, in January, I did it and haven't looked back. So
It's a blessing,
once
man.
you
That's awesome.
know, no,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Once you know, you'll know. You'll
Yeah,
know.
that's amazing. And also too, I wanted to kind of like give you guys your kudos too. You guys are one of the first accounts that I found on TikTok when I started my TikTok page. And so you've always been an inspiration and loved your content since you guys have been starting. I think you were on there before I even like fully got on there myself. So I just had to put that out there as well as you guys have always been an inspiration as well and love your content.
Yeah, appreciate that. That's definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate the support. I mean, I know we're all supporting each other, but at the end of the day, that's just because we support each other doesn't mean we can't be appreciative of it. So thank you for supporting as well.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so I'm gonna get you guys out of here on this last question. I always ask my guests this. If you were talking to 23-year-old Dante and 23-year-old Kenzie, and let's say they're struggling with fertility, what type of advice would you give them to encourage them and motivate them to keep going when they want to give up?
I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's just as simple as there's light at the end of the tunnel, right? Like continue doing what you guys are doing. Don't focus so much on that. Focus on loving each other. Focus on doing the day to day. Continue doing what you need to do, and eventually, like you said, you keep knocking on that doors. It's gonna open for you. I think just stay positive. I think that times where we got down at ourselves, um, we were thinking, so hey, something's wrong with you, something's wrong with me. Like you get down on each other, and you get sad. But it's like, hey, just stay positive, knowing that it's gonna happen. It may take a little bit longer, but sometimes God throws something at you that He knows that you can handle, and maybe at this time He knew that we can handle it. He knew that we would come together and it wouldn't tear us apart because some families it gets tears them apart, right? Because one person's thinking, hey, I can't have kids with you, I don't want to be with you anymore. Just those different things. I think when you realize if you bring if you get closer together, you communicate with each other and you keep just staying positive, I think at the end of the day good things will happen. And I think if I was talking to myself back then, I would just say, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And you may be going through something rough right now, but just keep on pushing, keep on going because your babies are running around the house now. So it's all good.
For sure. For me, I think I would say they're similar to Dante. There's light at the end of the tunnel, but like continue to like feel those emotions in the sense of like it's okay to feel that way. And also, I guess like the best thing is at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Because for me, we are very lucky that we were able to eventually conceive with IUI, and that's not the case for everybody, too. So, like, for me, I would continue to tell myself, at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason. God has a plan for you. And even if that came to the point of where we like had to adopt, like I was fully ready for that. So I think that's another thing too, is it's like, you know, the cards will fall where they're supposed to be is how I kind of look at life. And whatever direction that life takes me, I know is like my purpose, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. So that would be kind of my advice, is that, let life happen to you, but then also remember that, you are in control in the sense of your mindset. And so always try to keep somewhat of a positive mindset. It's okay to feel those feelings, but stay positive.
Wow. Everything that's supposed to happen is going to happen.
For sure.
If we all had that mindset, man, we would be so, like, we wouldn't need to worry. We if we all adopted that mindset, everything that's supposed to happen is going to happen. It's going to work out. Wow. This was good, guys. This was really, really good. I appreciate just talking to you guys about your story and getting your story out there. And I hope this helps somebody that's kind of going through similar situations. Hopefully this can really just benefit them. So thank you guys so much for really just coming on and sharing your story. Appreciate it. And keep
Most
doing
definitely.
what you're doing. Like please keep inspiring people through dancing, through laughing, through family. Everything that you guys are doing is inspiring more people than you can even imagine or think of. So keep doing it. Keep going, keep grinding, and keep being the light in a dark world.
Thank
Most
you.
definitely.
We
No, I
will.
appreciate you and you guys as
Yeah.
well, man.
Thank you for
Yeah.
having us. It was great, like being able to like chat with you and like have this open like communication, like you said, in the sense of like being able to help someone. I really hope it does too.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so make sure you following us on IG where we post reels from the episodes. And if you can't watch us, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast at Flip That Switch. So whether you're watching us, whether you're listening to us, just make sure you're tapping in with us. Also, if you do want to be a guest on the Flip That Switch podcast, please hit me in the comments. I love to get your story out there to the masses. I'm sure there's someone that could benefit it. So if that's you, please hit me in the comments. But other than that, Kenzie, Dante, again, thank y'all. And we appreciate y'all. And we're going to see y'all for the next episode. And we out. Peace.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.